Now in the previous lecture, we have implemented insert method in a hash table in case of linear probing. Now in this lecture, we are going to implement search method and delete method in case of linear probing in hash table. So the first method that I'm going to create will be search in hash table. So I'm going to declare our method like this. Public boolean, so it's going to return boolean type of variable. In this case, if we find the element in the hash table, we are going to return the true, otherwise we are going to return false. So the name of method will be search hash table. Now as a parameter, it's going to take the string type of word. This is the word that we are looking for in hash table. Now the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to calculate index based on the hash function over here. So as you remember, when we are creating insert method, we were calculating the index based on the hash function that we created before. So I'm just going to copy this part from here and paste it inside this search method. So after calculating the index, we need to loop through the hash table to find out the element that we are looking for in the hash table. So here I'm going to write loop like this. So our loop will start from the index. So int I will equal to index, and it will continue until we reach the index plus hash table length. Because in this case, as we said before, if the cell is occupied, we need to continue to the next cell. So that's why we are going to loop through the cells over here to find the value that we are looking for. So inside this loop, we are going to calculate the new index. So new index will be calculated based on the hash table length and I over here. So int new index will equal to I mod hash table dot length. Then based on this index, we are going to look for the value that we are searching. So it's going to be like this. If hash table with the new index is not equal to null and hash table with new index dot equals to the word that we are looking for. So if we have value in this index over here and the value that we are looking is equal to this word, in this case, we are going to print out saying that the word found at this location. So I'm going to print out to the console something like this. System out println. So it's going to be the word that we are looking for plus found at location. So we are going to print out plus new index. Now after doing so, we are going to return true, because in this case we have found it in this array over here. Otherwise, I saw this loop. So if we search this loop and we couldn't find anything, in this case we are going to print out saying that this word does not exist in this array over here. So it's going to be like outside this loop, I'm going to print out word not found in hash table. Then after returning this, we are going to return false, because in this case we couldn't find the value that we are looking for in the hash table. So in this case, we have an error over here because we have mistakenly put the square bracket over here, so it should be over here. Now after doing so, we have successfully implemented search method in case of linear probing. So basically what we are doing over here is we are finding the first index, then based on this index, we are looking through the cells in which we can find the word that we are looking for. Now let's see how this is working in practice. So inside main class, we have created hash table using linear probing over here, and we have inserted some values over here. Now after insertion, I'm going to call search method to see that if the value that we are looking for exists in this table or not. So here, instead of display hash table, I'm going to call search method. Then for example, let's say I'm going to search for fox. So if I pass fox as a parameter over here and search for it, so you will see that after insertion, it says that fox found at the location of 9. Now with this, we have successfully implemented our search method over here. Now instead of fox, if I search for something else and run our code, you'll see that it says that f not found in hash table over here. So our search method works the way that we want. Now after search method, let's continue to implement delete from hash table method. So I'm going to declare our method over here. So the name of method will be public void delete key hash table. So in this case, we are deleting a key from hash table. So it's going to take as a parameter string type of word, because we are looking for the word that we want to delete. So in this case, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to calculate index based on the hash function. Then we are going to search for the value in this hash table over here. If this exists, we are going to set it to null, because in this case we are deleting it. Otherwise, we are going to print out to the console saying that the value could not be found in this hash table over here. So I'm just going to create a new index over here, and this index will take the value that comes from the hash table. So as we did in search method, I'm just going to assign the value that comes from the hash table to this index over here. Then based on this index, we are going to search for a value in the hash table. So it's going to be like this: for int I is equal to index, so starting from index, and it will continue until I is less than index plus hash table dot length, and in each time it's going to increase by 1. Now here, based on this index, we are going to calculate new index. So because in case of linear probing, if the cell value is occupied, we are continuing for the next empty cell. So by using new index over here, we are going to look inside next empty cells over here. So we have to find out all other cells in this case. So in this case, it's going to be like this: new index will be equal to I mod hash table dot length. Now by using this index over here, we are going to search for the value that we are looking for. So if we found it, we are going to delete it from the hash table. So it's going to be like this: if hash table with new index is not equal to null, and the value in this index is equal to the word that we are looking for. So it's going to be like this: hash table new index dot equals to the word that we want to delete. In this case, we are going to set the value that is located in this new index over here to null, because we are deleting it from this hash table, and then we are printing out to the console saying that the value has been deleted from the hash table. So it's going to be like this. So I'm just going to copy this print statement from here and pass it over here. Instead of this message, I'm going to put word has been deleted from hash table. After returning this message, we are going to put return over here because we need to stop the loop over here. Now if we loop the all cells in this case, and we couldn't find the value that we want to delete, in this case we are just going to print out message saying that the value does not exist in this hash table over here. So outside this loop, we are going to put word not found in hash table. Now with this, we have successfully created delete key from hash table. Basically what we are doing over here is we are just looking for this word in the hash table. So when we are finding it, we are just setting the value of that cell to null. Otherwise, we are returning that it's not found in the hash table. So in this case, inside main class, instead of search method, I'm going to call delete key hash table method. So in this case, let's say we are going to call it for overword. So we know that it exists in this hash table. So after deletion in the hash table, we could not find this overword over here. So in this case, after deletion method, I'm going to call display hash table to see that if the value that we deleted exists in this hash table or not. So if I run our code, we see that when we are deleting it, it says that over has been deleted from the hash table. So if you look for over here, we see that over does not exist in this hash table over here. Now let's try one more other word. So because Fox, for example, is inserted in the next empty cell, so that's why I'm just going to call it for the Fox. So if I run it for the Fox, you will see that Fox will be deleted from the hash table over here. Now you see that it says that Fox has been deleted from hash table. So before it was located at the index of 9, but it's missing over here. It's set to null. So this means that we have successfully implemented delete method for hash table in case of linear probing. Now with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. So in this lecture, we have implemented search and insert method in case of linear probing in hash table. Now hopefully everything is clear about this lecture also. So in the next lecture, we are going to continue to implement quadratic probing. So see you in the next lecture.